Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy, Ruther and Praino. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from a sauna in Key West, Florida,
That's right.
Joey, No Chill Praino.
Hello, Andy.
Look at that backdrop you got going there.
Yes, I'm in the beautiful comedy condo provided by Comedy Key West, the great comedy club that I'm performing at in Key West. It's really cool. It's the upstairs apartment of like this weird A-frame. Like I can stand in the middle of the apartment, but as I get close to the wall on one side where there's a couch, and then if I'm in the bedroom, I get like when I'm sleeping in the bed, the ceiling is like literally right above my head because the whole roof slants down. It's wild in here, but it's beautifully decorated and it's beautiful. It's been an exhilarating trip to Key West already, and I'm only one day in. I love Key West. If it wasn't so Florida, and if there were surfable waves, I could live here. It feels like you're in the Caribbean. Unfortunately, there's undertones of Florida everywhere.
How you get there? I've never been to Key West.
So I flew to Fort Lauderdale,
Okay.
which, is basically a greater Miami airport.
Sure.
And then you drive like 3+ hours through the Keys. I believe, there is an airport here, and I'm sure Jimmy Buffett just like flew his seaplane straight to wherever his house was. But I think typically people drive down from the Miami area, and I got a speeding ticket yesterday driving through Marathon, Florida. Unbelievable. Funny enough, the cop pulled me over, and where he was set up, wherever you set up, I imagine when you get behind somebody, you're gonna pull them over a couple 100 yards down the road. So I finally pull over, and there's this big barbecue restaurant called Porky's or something like that, and just all of the huge parking lot where, like, I'm imagining a lot of people pull over if the cop sets up there regularly, and there's just like all these signage of pigs. And I was just like, I was so nice to the guy because I really thought he was going to let me out of it, because I was like, my first time here, and I just got back on the road. I stopped for food, blah, 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 blah. I saw you, and I was like, I'm probably speeding. And then he pulled me over, and I thought he was going to let me go. And then when he didn't, when he came back with a ticket, I was like, do you see the irony here? Like, I was like, you pull over people here a lot? And he like looked, and he's just staring at like 1,000 neon signs of pigs. And he was just like, there you go. There's your ticket.
Did you tell me you're a comic?
No, I should have. I should have been like, I'm a comic. I'm going to do shows, and now your stupid ticket's going to take 5% of my pay.
Well, I'm going to talk about you in my act.
Yeah.
Or I could say how nice you were.
Which I did. I did talk about him in my act.
Exactly. Porky's, not the Porky's as we know from the famous movie Porky's.
I don't believe so. No.
Similar vibes, though, maybe.
Similar vibes.
Wasn't that set in Florida?
Was it?
Maybe.
I don't remember. That's interesting. We'll have to look it up.
You see any gators?
No gators. I haven't been. I wasn't around the swamps in Florida. You drive through that in like the Miami area. But you get down here, gators are the least of your problems. You got the ocean, you got sharks and shit. And I was in the ocean yesterday for a little bit, just having a little wade around pre-show happy hour swim. This is a fun fact. Lots of roosters, lots of chickens, literally walking the streets of Key West. Have you been here, Andy? You've never been here. You said that before. So I looked it up today. Cockfighting, obviously huge in Cuba, then made its way over here. Tons of cockfighting, and then they made it illegal. So people just released their cocks into the streets, and now there's like a massive chicken and rooster population. Literally walking the streets. Everywhere you go, you're just walking by. I walked out my front door this morning. There was a chicken with like 8 chicks right out the front door. I was eating breakfast. Rooster just like walks up to me. It's wild.
You get that Alice in Chains song going on loop.
Yeah.
Shout out to the 3 people who get that reference.
Well,
Well,
it's just a great thing. They told me yesterday, they're like, there's a bike outside the condo for you. Feel free to bike around town, bike over to the club. So this is what comedy should be, you know? Get up, you go for a bike ride over to your show.
isn't that where Nick Swartzen went during the pandemic, Key West?
They love Nick Swartzen down here, man. He was here during the pandemic. He became like a local celebrity. He did the club a bunch of times. I was in this bar yesterday. It's very classic, like big city bar. They were all joking. They're like, you came to Key West, so we're taking you to like a typical New York, LA bar. But it's called the Retro Room, and everything is like throwback arcade games, throwback toys, throwback shit. And they have those pillows. Have you seen those pillows that are like sequin? And if you rub them one way, they're like one picture, and if you rub it the other way, they're another picture. They on the couch in there, they had a sequin pillow that was 2 different pictures of Nick Swartzen. On the couch, like Keanu Reeves, Tom Cruise, Nick Swartzen. I was like, guys, love you some Nick Swartzen.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So we got a show tonight?
Tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. So if you're in the Key West area, or if you're in South Florida, or if you know anybody down here, honestly, send them my way. The club is super fun. Small little club, but so much fun. Went into the club yesterday. There's a bar in the back of the room, and the bartender goes, do you need anything to drink? And I was like, I'm okay at the moment. She's like, well, you know, there's snacks and there's beers in the fridge in the green room. I was like, great. And so I walk into the green room. I open the mini fridge, stock full of lights. I was like, did you guys do this for me? Or is this just standard? Because it was glorious. Just a mini fridge full of Miller Lights. So wonderful.
Now, how are they feeling about their Marlins? They don't care, do they? That they
No one here gives a fuck. No one here. Key West is the kind of place where, like, you've probably got people down here who are super big into SEC football, but otherwise, this is not a place where sports matters. You know, they have so much other things to worry about, like getting drunk and like cleaning shit off their boats or whatever. But yeah, I think college football is probably a big deal. SEC college football. But I bet you if you took a poll, I bet you if I walked around today and I asked 50 people on the street, what do you think about the Marlins and how their playoffs went? I don't even think they would answer. I'd be like, is it playoff time? Are the Marlins are they still a baseball team? Like, I think you get one person who's like, yeah, man, crazy. They got swept.
So it's a bunch of Andy Ruthers down there.
Yeah, pretty much.
I haven't watched a pitch.
You haven't watched a pitch of postseason baseball or a pitch of baseball this year?
I haven't watched a pitch of postseason baseball. Have I watched a pitch of regular season?
I mean, you probably watched some De La Cruz shit and some, like, right? You had to.
Well, no, remember, I don't get the game. So
Oh yeah.
I honestly don't think I've put a game on.
Sounds like Taylor Swift needs to fuck Clayton Kershaw next.
Yeah.
That should and the NFL constantly winning, right? Major League Baseball should have saved your whole sport.
Well, yeah, I sent you the news today. I know some of you guys are getting sick of it, but it's more of the business end, which we've all discussed. This was revealed today. This is pretty crazy. It's actually bonkers, if you ask me. It shows that this is all a master plan, which, again, has been said all along. The NFL, listen to this, guys, pushed its networks, NBC, CBS, Fox, ESPN, to run free Taylor Swift movie promos last week. We all know
which they showed, which that was the first commercial they showed on Sunday Night Football last week.
NBC, Sunday Night Football did it. ESPN did it. CBS, Fox Did not do that. Now, here's my thing. Ads during NFL games, especially Sunday night games, are insanely expensive. So what did I say? I said this last episode. I guarantee the NFL is giving a directive to their networks, and sure enough, they did. To run a free ad on Sunday Night Football? I guess the end game for the NFL, according to the New York Post article by Andrew Marchand, is to get her to do a Super Bowl halftime show. That's the end game here. Now, the game itself drew 27 million viewers. It was the second most watched game since the opening game. But here's a key stat. The female teen demo was only up 40,000. And I don't know how they do this or if it's accurate, but from the previous week, which was Steelers Raiders.
I love where we're going only. Like, it's like 40,000 teen girls just randomly decided to tune into Sunday Night Football. Like, that's still a big, very big number.
It's
40,000 like, people, I believe, is like the population of Venice, California.
But again, like, I guess that's the end game is to get her to do the halftime, because if she does, it would be the most watched Super Bowl ever for sure. But like like, if I'm NBC or ESPN, you're just gonna run a free ad. You're just gonna what are you getting in return from the NFL? What kind of back end deal is that? I want to know, what's that exchange? And of course, the NFL justified it all week. Bunch of cucks. I've just never seen. I've never seen anything like this with a league. It's bizarre, and they're defending it, of course, talking about, I'm reading this direct quote from the NFL yesterday from their statement. We frequently change our bios, referring to the social media bios, and profile imagery based on what's happening in and around our games as well as culturally. Yeah, sure you do. The Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce news has been a pop culture moment we've leaned into in real time. And it's an intersection of sport and entertainment. And we've seen an incredible amount of positivity around the sport. Actually, you haven't. Here's the thing. You've seen people pissed off, and you've seen maybe a new wave of people interested.
Shout out to Giants fans, by the way, for booing the promo during Monday Night Football while they were there in the stadium. Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is why the NFL is smart. Nobody's going to stop watching. Like you're not going to, like, I'm a diehard guy, right? I pay for Sunday ticket. I've been very annoyed. It's just like, I don't care. I'm not going to stop watching. So they know that. The NFL wisely knows that. I'm not going to stop watching over this. Everybody who bitches, it's the same people who were bitching about the kneeling. You're not going to stop watching.
Right.
You're not. It's the same person. So, like, I can bitch all I want, but they know this. They know they're not going to lose viewers, and they're going to gain some. So it's a win-win. But again, aren't you curious, Praino? What's that conversation like with ESPN in the NFL saying, hey, run a free ad?
I mean, I think ESPN these days is, with all the trouble that ESPN has on their own, and Disney, and the way that they're cutting costs every way they can, I think we talked about it with, like, satellite radio and Howard Stern. It's like, or DirecTV and the Sunday Ticket. It's like, without the NFL, what is ESPN at this point? So I don't really even think you have leverage in that conversation.
Yeah, true. I know. I don't know, man. It's it'll be curious, like, this week, obviously, because the Chiefs they're playing in Minnesota, so it's not like it's a high profile game.
I have a take on that when we get to our new segment, Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions. Ooh, teasing a new segment.
And you got a little take on that game.
Oh, yeah. I have a take on that game as it relates to the Taylor news and just whatever. Yeah, it's all a bundle. So stick around for the 6-pack Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions.
Well, I'm excited to hop into this, a little of this Marshawn Lynch.
Ooh, I didn't know what you were about to say. Have you seen the Trevor Bauer news, by the way? Did you get involved in that stuff?
I did. I watched his video. It's pretty crazy.
Did you watch her interview? Did you watch the interview she did? That was like wildly not good for her.
No, I didn't.
Well, I'll send you it after, and we can dive in more, maybe next episode.
I mean, I watched. I'm sure you watched what Trevor Bauer posted.
Yeah.
And the video that the girl did after they slept together. And the text. It's insane. Is he going to sue Major League Baseball?
I have no idea. You'd think he probably would, but it's one of those things where it's like it's a really hard thing to win when like even if every single thing Trevor Bauer says is true and every single thing that this girl says is a lie, it's still hard to prove in a lawsuit that they did you wrong in some way, where it's like the league has a reputation, and obviously we know these leagues are fucking bullshit and pick and choose when they want to enforce like any sort of ethical regulations on their players. But there still remains this thing with as sketchy as it's become, there still remains like some things that like no one's arguing didn't happen. Like he knocked her unconscious with like violence and then did things to her while she was unconscious. So it's like, okay.
So that's known?
So, yeah. And the thing is like, okay, but
like
was
he's
she
not
into
denying
it?
that?
Not really. You know, he's denying that like none of it, like he's essentially saying all of it was consensual, right? But the fact of the matter is, it's like, and by the way, I'm not defending her or attacking him in any way. What I'm saying is, from a legal standpoint, it's hard to be like, hey, you guys railroaded me, when it's like, well, you're knocking girls unconscious and then they're filing lawsuits against you. You know, it's the same thing. It's like with the NFL, pot was legal everywhere, but Josh Gordon keeps getting suspended for it, you know? And it's like, listen, man, we keep telling you, you can't do these things. All this stuff reflects on the league, blah, 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 blah. He's like, well, it's legal. Like, well, it's consensual. Okay. But we as Major League Baseball still have to answer for like players knocking people unconscious. Why am I saying unconscious over and over? Unconscious. And then, you know, doing sexual things to them. So it's hard to prove in a court of law that the league was going out of their way. Like, why does Major League Baseball, you have to prove also Major League Baseball is like trying to ruin your career for some reason?
Well, my takeaway, obviously, well, first of all, he did have a history, as we know, before all this with the league. And also a lot of people didn't like Trevor Bauer. A lot of people don't like Trevor Bauer, aside from all this, just as a person. Yeah. But my takeaway on all this stuff within baseball and without baseball, if you falsely claim somebody rapes you, sexually assaults you, you should be put in prison. I mean, it's true though. Like, how are there no ramifications, you know, on these cases that you see? Because that's one of the worst things you could be accused of. One of the worst things. And there's no ramifications. Also, it really hurts the victims of people who are.
Of course, obviously that's the big thing. Right?
Really hurts people who are sexually assaulted, are raped. Because then everybody's like, nah, liar. Like, you're an evil person. Like if and it seems like it is, if all this is true, if you concocted this whole thing, you created this whole plan just to get money, like you're a very wicked person. The whole thing is crazy. I don't know, man. I can't wait for him to go on Club Shay Shay. That's my new thing. I'm starting to love this Club Shay Shay.
Well,
the name
when you talk about these sports networks, which we do a lot, we've mocked endlessly Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith and all these shows. And what's funny is that the way these networks justify having people yelling at each other for a half an hour about insane shit, like the topics that they come up on these shows and the way they pit people against each other to have terrible hot takes, and they always have to oppose. The whole justification that you see from the media is that, people watch. So if you don't like it, turn it off. When the truth is, a guy like Shannon Sharp leaves, sits down, no co-host, no hot takes, just talking to athletes in a one-on-one interview. And he's creating content infinitely more interesting than anything that First Take or
have ever done.
I don't even. What show was he on? Him and Skip was what show?
I don't even know. Don't even care.
Right.
Don't even care.
Biracial
First
yelling.
Take, last take, mid take.
Yeah.
Smart take. I don't really care.
Yeah. But every guest Shannon Sharp has on, the content that comes from it is infinitely more interesting than the most hotly debated viral topic him and Skip Bayless ever did.
Well, it's because, obviously we know this firsthand, the benefits of a long form discussion. You can actually delve into things. And I haven't listened yet. I've watched a lot of the clips, but he does a 2-hour interview with Marshawn Lynch.
And that's a whole other aspect of this, which is, in the end, the media is like almost never right. They're like, stuff's got to be quick. It's got to be viral. It's got to be clippable. It's got to be whatever. Long form is no good. Meanwhile, ESPN's like, I don't know. I guess put Pat McAfee on for 5 hours a day. I guess that's our brand now. Oh, okay. So now you're just putting full on extra long podcasts on your channel, or Shannon Sharp's doing 2-hour interviews and it's making clippable nuggets way better. Remember when the YouTube thing was like, make sure your YouTube videos are under 3 minutes long. And now it's like, make sure your YouTube videos are 3 hours long so we can fill them with ads.
Yeah, it's true. Again, these type of interviews, you get to know somebody and you get these nuggets. And again, like, we're not going to go over this full interview because I haven't listened to it, and I've seen a lot of the clips, watched a lot of the clips, but also you're getting stories out of this 2-hour interview that you didn't have in the last. I mean, when did Marshawn Lynch enter the league? My point is, he's been around the NFL for God knows almost 20 years, 15, 20 years. One sit down with Shannon Sharp and you suddenly have all these great nuggets on Russell Wilson, all these great nuggets on Pete Carroll, on the Seahawks, on Aaron Rodgers, what it was like playing with him at Cal. It's definitely a way to go. So this interview, again, kind of just solidifies everything everyone said about Russell Wilson. He's not a good teammate. He just never was one of the guys. Didn't want to be one of the guys. Didn't want the camaraderie. This is even before CR Russell Wilson, for the record. That's what's fascinating to me. This is just...
And this comes out about athletes every once in a while, and then you go, yeah, I mean, I guess we kind of all should have expected that. Like the same thing, you read the Lakers book about how Kobe just like never did anything with his teammates and never whatever. You're like, yeah, that tracks. Russell Wilson, almost in being that he was like a lower round draft pick and he wasn't that hyped and whatever, everybody's like, oh man, he's just your run of the mill game manager, like loved by his teammates. And the truth is, never, not for 1 second.
Yeah, I know. It's that's what's crazy, is that like you said, he's your 3rd round pick, and it's like he just never wanted to be a part of the team. And we'll go through some of these. And again, there's just a few different clips I want to play. But the first one, it doesn't surprise me that he had no relationship. I mean, no relationship with his star running back. It's wild.
With Russ and Pete. Why did it? I mean, because it seemed like a match made in heaven. I mean, y'all spend big money to get Matt Flynn from the Packers. Russ comes in. I think Russ is a 3rd-round draft pick. He wins the job. Matt Flynn never sees the field. It's perfect. Everything, it seems like a match made in heaven.
Right.
And then we see the abruptness. Maybe Russ feels that Pete is holding him back because it was all about the Legion of Boom. Maybe Pete saying, well, there's some slippage and we're not going to give you that massive contract. From your expert opinion, you played in Seattle, you know Russ, you know Pete. What happened with that relationship?
Man, look, man, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm not I wouldn't be the right person to speak on their relationship because I didn't fuck with them. You feel what I'm saying? So
You didn't mess with who?
I didn't fuck with Pete,
Uh-huh.
and then Russ was like just a quarterback for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't as
You didn't have no relationship. You didn't have no kind of a relationship. Y'all didn't like go to a party. Y'all didn't get together. Y'all didn't do it. Y'all didn't kick it like that. I mean,
Look at that reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, that says
Teaching
it
me about
all.
Skittles. It really does say it all. And it's like everything we know about Marshawn Lynch. It's like Marshawn Lynch isn't going to be a guy who has a close relationship with his head coach. Right.
Yeah.
But you see, there's a famous clip. Do you remember you've seen the famous clip? Who is it on the sideline talking to him about like what he's doing for Christmas? Have you seen that clip? Somebody's like, what are you doing for Christmas? He's like, man, we ain't even at Thanksgiving yet. And he does seem like a guy who has a relationship with his teammates, though. Because everybody can respect what Marshawn Lynch did, the kind of player he was, the attitude he brought to playing the game. Super fun, super chill, but also just like, I mean, literally beast mode, you know? But to go blank, to literally lose consciousness when somebody asks you what your relationship with your starting quarterback was. It's not that I don't feel like it's that hard to be fucking friendly with Marshawn Lynch.
No.
If you're on his team.
I know.
Yo, Marshawn, you want to get a tandem bicycle and go ride around Seattle today? He's like, hell yeah, dude.
I know. That's what's crazy. You don't have to be best friends with everybody. But Shannon Sharp even goes into that. After that, I'm not going to play that. But he was talking about guys he's played with. And he's like, even guys that like, we'd be playing video games together. We'd be playing, cards. It's like, and Marshawn's like, none of that. None of that existed.
Yeah.
None of it. And then he tells the wild story, which I do want to play that clip. Did you see the story about the block number?
Yeah. Yeah. Wild.
Like, this is pretty nuts. I want to play this because they didn't have each other's numbers. Dude, you work with somebody. Like let's break it down.
There's no like team handbook where you got everybody's number in case you need to text somebody.
But also, like, again, like anybody I've ever worked with, I have their number to reach out to them.
Yeah. Your quarterback, your starting quarterback, you're on offense. You're a starting running back. The starting quarterback and the starting tailback don't have each other's numbers. Dude, Russell Wilson not having Bobby Wagner's number. Okay. Like, I guess.
I know. It's nuts, man. It's absolutely nuts. So this is what, how do we get back to this?
This is the new Dirty Sports, and he's just 600% bigger than I am.
Here we go. All right. So I'm gonna skip ahead. Let's see where we're at. No, let's see. Actually, we got to get up to, okay. Yeah, we'll skip ahead. And then and then he shares the story about trying to get his number.
Playing against Tennessee, and they had, you know what I mean, they secondary wasn't good. And we were supposed to throw the ball for 500 yards or some shit like that. And, you know, he didn't have a game. Russ didn't have a game that he wanted. And so, man, you know, after the game, I did pretty good. You feel me? 2 tugs, 150 rushing, another 50 receiving. So after the game, you know, just all of the hype building up, you supposed to do this and we gonna have it. It didn't work out that way. So, man, I reached out to our personnel dude and I like, hey, man, let me get Russ' number. Call him, you know, holler at him. I'll call you back. So then, you know, he called me back like, hey, did you get a call? I'm like, no. He's like, no, Russ just said he called you. I'm like, no, I got a call from a blocked number. He's like, oh, that's him. I'm like,
He blocked his number.
I don't know if he blocked it or if, I don't know how it went. I just know it got a call from a blocked number. So when I called back and I'm just like, hey, bro, you know, I ain't calling you as no media shit.
No fan, no stalker, bro. This me. I'm a teammate.
Like, nigga, I'm calling you. I'm telling you straight up, like, I'm calling you on some real nigga shit. Like, you know what I mean, I think this is the first time that I actually, like, you know, tried to have a conversation with Blood. So I'm like, yeah, you feel me? I know you didn't have the game that you wanted to have. I'm like, but look, check it out, nigga. That's what I'm here for. And you know what I mean? And if, you know, the shoe on the other foot, I expect, you know what I mean, for it to be the same way.
Right.
Like, nigga, we gotta, you know what I mean? I'm here for you, you here for me. You feel me? You let me know, and we go like, and his response to me kind of like was like, the fuck? What you? So I told him again, like, nah, bro, like, you know, I'm letting you know, like, nigga, I'm here for you, like, nigga, we gonna rock.
I love that he's just like,
you know
we should be friends.
And
we're on the same team.
So I kind of.
So what exactly was his response? What did he say?
We ain't gonna get into all that, man. You feel me?
It was bad, huh?
I mean, yeah, considering, you know.
That you reached out.
That we on the same team going for the same goal and, you know what I mean, this was how you chose to respond to me. It was more so like, maybe you don't understand what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm gonna stop it there. He calls to have his quarterbacks back, let him know he's there for him. And, you know, this is what we're going to do for each other. And obviously he's not getting into what Russ said, but he didn't have to.
Right.
What the hell's wrong with Russell Wilson?
It's, you know, what it comes down to with Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson has just always been fraudulent. He acts one way when he's totally different. It seems like what Marshawn Lynch is saying is like his response was probably something along the lines of like, yeah, great for you, man. But what about me? I'm trying to get paid and I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do this and it didn't work out that way. So like, yeah, maybe just like fuck off, bro. And it's like, dude, it's just about winning football games. Like, yeah. In the end, I get it. Russell Wilson, you want to get paid. You want to cook. You want to do all the shit, but it's like Marshawn Lynch, especially being a running back, I'm sure he made a very small percentage of what Russ made in the league, but he's beloved.
Well, and that's, you know, the thing is, the word fraud, of course, is the word you have to use. And the irony is you have Russell Wilson, arguably the most fraudulent personality in NFL history at this point, right? Just as a person. Conversely, Marshawn Lynch is probably the most genuine and real person.
Right.
He's always been himself from the, you know, I'm just here so I'm not getting fined to the Skittles. There's nobody more real and more authentic than Marshawn Lynch. And you're right. That's why he's loved. That's why we love him. I love him.
And that's also like, it's everything you need. His relationship with Russell Wilson's relationship with Marshawn Lynch is everything you need to know about Russell Wilson. Because if you're real, it's not going to be hard to get along with Marshawn Lynch.
I mean, Marshawn Lynch has become boys with Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How many times is he going to do stuff with Conan? It's like, he is that guy. I've never seen Marshawn Lynch do something that didn't make me laugh, make me interested. He's the anti-Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
It's insane, man. And there's more to this. Now, he does go on and say, I look, we made it work. I go to bat for him on my team. I still think, basically, I don't know if he's trying to cover his tracks, but later on, he's like, we made it work on the field, and I would play with him again because at the end of the day, we made that work. But Russ wouldn't want to play because, again, he's got to be the guy.
And also, the point is, like, you made it work to what extent? You know what I mean? You made it work to the tune of a Super Bowl. You also got to another Super Bowl and lost. And that game was decided essentially in choosing a Russ moment over a Marshawn Lynch moment. So it's like, it's always the Shaq Kobe thing. It's the LeBron Kyrie thing. We made it work. We won 3 championships. Actually, you didn't make it work. You left 5 championships on the table. We made it work. We beat Golden State. Actually, you didn't make it work. You left 2 more titles on the table. So, yeah, you guys made it work because it's hard to win Super Bowls in the NFL, and you won one. But you also didn't make it work because you lost a Super Bowl on a play where they had to decide between the two of you guys. And who knows where it would go from there with had the Legion of Boom stayed together? How do you not pay Russ? How about you keep Marshawn Lynch happy? Blah, blah, blah. There's so many ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Well, what I love about this interview, the full interview, is that you have the complete opposite story with Aaron Rodgers, right? You have a guy who comes to bat for you when you're a freshman at Cal, has your back from day one, even shares an amazing story about how Aaron Rodgers takes the blame for a mess up he does in practice. And I'll play that clip. And I just love how both of these things are on the podcast. It to me, because it shows how you should be a teammate. That's why I like it.
And we talk so much about quarterbacks on this show and how it's so much more than your stats, and it's so much more like so many things are factored in, from your finances to your relationship with your teammates, to your relationship with your receivers, to the relationship with your guys on defense and your coach and all that. And it being the most important position, it's like more things need to be factored in than just your completion percentage.
100%. And I'll play the clip. He literally credits Aaron Rodgers for what happened in his career because it all started at Cal.
I mean, I think he's a top 5 quarterback all time. When you're playing with him in college, did you think he was going to turn into what he became?
Yeah. The only difference is I would have thought he would have had more Super Bowls by now. Realistically, Aaron Rodgers is the reason why I got my opportunity at Cal. As a freshman, it's hard to play.
Yeah.
And there was a running back on our team who rushed for, I think, 1,500 the year before and had 2,000 my freshman year.
Wow.
So the chances of me getting the opportunity to play was slim.
Right.
I remember we was in, spring, we had our spring game. Mm-hmm. And, the ones going against the ones. And, Teffer called like, hey.
Oh, I love this story. You know what else I love real quick, to go back to your point on ESPN and trying to get the clips they love. Dude, it's just guys drinking and smoking. It's like, it's the most chill atmosphere. And we're just getting this amazing content. Like, this story right now is better than any story you've heard on ESPN in the last 20 years.
Put 2-4 in there. And I'm like, what? Everybody looking around like, what? Like, you finna give this freshman an opportunity? Because we had some older guys that still ain't even, got a carry. Like, yeah, man, put 2-4 in there. Let me see what he do. They come in there, they call 24 power. I'm like, I get a power like, ooh,
Oh, that's at the rip.
man, what?
Oh, down, pull around. Oh, that thing about to open up nice. What you got for?
Shannon.
And I get back there, I'm looking across that defense, and I'm like, oh, shit. Them grown-ups. Them grown-ups. Like, you know what I mean? Them, fuck it. And get in there, call the play, set in, go. I done went the wrong way.
Ah, man, damn, beast. Damn.
I done went the wrong damn way. But this how I knew A-Rod was special. As A-Rod turning around and he looking for me, he see I'm on the other side. A-Rod pull the smoothest move I ever seen, man. That boy turned around and hand the ball off to me backwards. He was facing the other way, hand the ball off to me backwards. I come around and get back into the play, man. Yard. My running back coach come on, what the you know I don't curse, but what the hell was you doing? I'm like, what you mean? I just scored. You went the wrong way. I say, man, I'm like, but I scored. That ain't what we talking about. We talking about being accountable. Like, yeah, you scored, but you got to do shit right around here. That's how you separate yourself. What you did, that's not going to work. Aaron Rodgers, now the head coach coming over there. Before he could even get over there to open his mouth, I just hear A-Rod telling him like, no, that was me. I'm like, what the fuck? Wow. Running back coach like, no, he ran the wrong way. I know he did, because he wasn't talking that before you came over here. And A-Rod like, no, I you know what? I did the wrong thing. I did. Wow. Trevor like, oh, and you gonna take up for him? Like, look, I'm telling you, I did the wrong thing. Give me the next play so we can run it. And I'm sitting there, because I ain't never seen no quarterback, you know what I mean?
Vouch for he vouch. Like, he vouching for you.
The truth. So and you solid like that. First of all, you done got me out of jam because you done hand the ball off to me, you know what I mean, on some backdoor shit like, hey, take this little nigga and get it.
You know, Magic Johnson hand off you the ball.
You feel what I'm saying? And then the rest was history after that. Now, me and A-Rod done build a level of trust. A-Rod will do shit like, you feel me? Hey, go out there to line up out, wide out. If you get a safety or a linebacker on you, I don't care what the play was, run or go. Man, A-Rod throwing me fades and some more shit. So he had that, you feel me though? We built that trust with each other. So A-Rod really put me in the mix.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? And I mean, like I said, I would have thought he would have had my
Okay. So I'll wrap that up. But I mean, what a great clip.
Yeah, I agree.
But again, it's like you said, as far as the teammate and the quarterback, the importance beyond the numbers. And I know you're not going to like this, Vikings fans. I know we just keep doing it, but like I have to say, somebody that comes to mind is Kirk Cousins. He doesn't have that camaraderie with Justin Jefferson.
Oh no, Andy, of course he does. You haven't seen where all the black players dress him up like a troll doll in the 90s and put like chains on him and stuff, and they make him dance on the plane? You haven't seen that? Where they're like, dance, white boy. Put a blonde wig on him. Make him wear a bikini top. Oh, you should wear a grass skirt and coconut bra. And he's like, I'm cool, right? My teammates love me.
But like that's a real story. He fucking 100% sticks up for a freshman. And it's like, now you have each other's back. Whereas Marshawn Lynch calls Russell Wilson, says, I have your back.
I mean, he literally just spoke for a longer time about Aaron Rodgers than he's probably spoken to Russell Wilson.
I mean, you're probably right. But I also feel, to bring it back to the quarterback discussion, I feel like you can get that vibe, right? With certain quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The guys whose teammates have their back and vice versa, and the guys who don't. I mean, that'd almost be a funny game for us to play. We do overrated, underrated.
Yeah.
You could literally we could just go.
Has friends in the locker room, doesn't have friends in the locker room. Friends or no friends? Welcome to the latest segment on Dirty Sports. Friends or no friends? First up, Kirk Cousins.
No friends.
Next up, Russell Wilson.
No friends.
I mean, if you look at Aaron Rodgers, the Jets have been getting hammered, obviously, until the Sunday night performance of Zach Wilson. Hammered for sticking with Zach Wilson. And I think it's 95% of that is the relationship that Aaron Rodgers had with Zach Wilson and what was shown on Hard Knocks and all that stuff. And they're like, oh, well, I guess if Aaron Rodgers like believes the guy's progressing, then we should believe it too.
Yeah. No, I know for sure. I love this idea. Friends or no friends. I'm already thinking of some guys like Deshaun Watson. Are they friends with him? Or are they like, this guy's kind of creepy?
Yeah. Oh, friends for sure. He's got friends.
Deshaun Watson friends?
The NFL locker rooms are just fucked up enough where they're like, yeah, man, they railroaded you with that whole rape thing. And he's like, I know. But here, to tie two segments together, it feels like Trevor Bauer, no friends, right?
100% no friends.
And that's why you can get yourself in this situation.
Yeah.
Because you're doing shit that may or may not, like, again, legal, consensual. Okay, there's a lot of blurry lines here, but you don't have anybody to stand for you.
No, you're right.
And if you did, maybe this wouldn't have gone the way it did. Like, if they went into the Dodgers locker room and everybody's like, we love him, we don't think that that's his deal, Or I was out with him the night before, I was out with him the night after, he didn't do this. But no friends.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, I mean, in that thing, you even talk about that girl was texting one of those Padres pitchers.
Yeah.
We're saying take his money.
Yeah.
Like he's
not
hated.
only no friends, but people hate you so much they're just siding with civilians over you. Like the brotherhood of baseball players. They're like, oh yeah, man, you should see if you could get him locked up.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. We should talk a little baseball. The playoffs have started.
Yeah, let's do it. Shocking first 2 days.
All 2 and out.
All 2 and out. A lot of series that I didn't think would be 2 and out were 2 and out. A lot of series didn't even go the way I thought they would. I would have, I'll just be honest, because I know a lot of people like to say Joe Praino never, admits he was wrong. I thought the Phillies would get through the Marlins pretty easily. I thought that would happen for sure. I thought Twins, Toronto would be a good series, but I thought I could see that going Twins. I thought the Brewers were going to escape the Diamondbacks in a good series. Nope. 2-0 done. And I thought the Rangers would be a good series as well, but I also thought the Rays were going to win that series going into it. I mean, 2 of my predicted winners swept. I mean, now I thought those, they could go either way. The 3-game series, they could go either way. But my God, I got to say, I'm just straight up shocked that the Rangers swept, and I'm shocked that the Diamondbacks swept. Guess I'm sleeping on the teams from the West, wildcard West teams.
Well,
Twins, congrats. How about that?
Yeah. When's the last time they won a playoff series or playoff game? I don't know.
What's that?
They didn't win a playoff game in forever.
Exactly. When it rains and pours, you didn't just get 1, you got 2, you're through. The Yankees aren't in the playoffs. You are. You're winning series now.
The Rays drew the smallest Major League Baseball crowd since the 1919 World Series in their game 1.
Unreal.
That's a wild stat. Since the 1919 World Series, which was fixed, they had like 19,700 fans at game 1.
That's gross.
This is classic baseball, though. We know the Tampa Bay thing is not working and playing there. But we're just going to keep doing it. We're just going to keep doing this every year. It's embarrassing, man.
How about the Florida thing not working, and then they took another team and went there anyway?
True. So I don't know what the answer is, if it's going back to Montreal. Where's Montreal? Could they stay in the East?
Yeah, Montreal's East. Is that your question? Is Montreal East or West?
Well, I didn't know if it was more central in Canada.
It's above New York, bro.
Montreal's above New York.
Yeah.
Who knew? It's above New York.
Yeah.
So it's not that far from Toronto?
It's east of Toronto.
Montreal
Toronto is above Western New York. Montreal's above Eastern New York.
I know nothing about Canadian.
That's funny because I
geography.
famously failed. The only class I've ever failed in my life was Intro to Canada in college. So I literally famously know nothing about Canada, but this is an exceptional lack of knowledge about Canada.
Oh my goodness. Montreal is just, who knew?
Everybody.
Basically, if you shot up, if you who knew? This is amazing. So they could stay in the East. Well, we do have a call from, speaking of Canadians, Ryan Klatt is hopping back in the combo.
Or did he call as a hockey correspondent, or did he call just as former and current hockey correspondent with some other sports topics to discuss?
He called to absolutely go nuts on the Toronto Blue Jays outcome.
Okay, great.
Let's see if I can add this. Hold on. I forgot to put it in the old file. So this is Ryan calling to just vent, because he's a diehard Blue Jays fan, since that's the only team they have.
Hey guys, it's Ryan Klatt calling in. Just watched the Blue Jays get swept out of the wild card round for the second straight year. Of course, last year they blew an 8-1 lead in Game 2 to lose to the Mariners. So not quite as disastrous as last year, but we've got a problem. Our manager, John Schneider, has a pencil for a dick. He pulls Barrios, who is shoving after 47 pitches because of some analytics bullshit, just pencil dick behavior. The pitcher who came in gave up 2 runs. They lose 2-0. Now, obviously, the Jays didn't score any runs, squandered some great opportunities. Vladdy getting picked off, just disgusting. But ball doesn't lie. That loss was the baseball gods trying to prove a point. Yeah, that's all. Stay dirty. Condoms are for John Schneider, although they would probably fit him like a fucking garbage bag.
That's a good call.
He has a pencil for a dick.
For a dick.
Unreal. It feels, I hate to do broken record shit, but it feels like we do this every postseason now, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel like we have every year we have to go through a manager mismanaging games? And mismanaging is one thing, but I think every time you're so much more likely, it's so much more defensible to leave a guy in too long than take a guy out too early. He was 47 pitches into the game. It was the 3rd inning. He was pitching against his former team. You have to be able to look past whatever sort of nonsense analytics. This is always the defense too. The defense is analytics. What in the world could it have possibly said? He had thrown 47 pitches. If you watch any documentary about any great pitcher, if you watch the Nolan Ryan documentary, if you watch any Greg Maddux fucking interview, if you watch any Randy Johnson interview, half of these guys get warmed up at 47 pitches. They're like, oh, and then I got into the 3rd inning, and then I really started to feel loose.
Yeah.
And then I found my shit. And it's like all this stuff of they're this many times through the order and this many, like it's so. And what if I were a manager, I would even be like, listen, you don't ever get killed for ignoring the analytics. You get killed for listening to them. How many? We did this with Blake Snell a couple years ago. We did it with this guy a couple years ago. We did. The story is always, I mean, if you put, I'm going to do it right now. What's John Schneider? Is it John with an, with an H or no H? Okay, I'm putting John Schneider.
You're asking me. I had no clue.
I'm just putting John Schneider, the name, into Google. Literally hated it. Blue Jays players unhappy with John Schneider's move to pull Berrios. Blue Jays blow another playoff series by following a flawed analytics script. All you have to do if you put in his name, it's just 1,000 stories about him pulling the pitcher. This is never going to happen if you leave a guy too long, because it is the same thing. Remember when we talked about Zach Wilson last year, not defending, not taking the L and being like, this was my fault. And then he lost the locker room and whatever. If you want to be a successful baseball manager, your team has to believe in you, and you need to be a guy that they trust is running the team, and some fucking computer isn't running the team. And it's so easy. It's the easiest fucking defense ever to leave a guy in a little too long.
Yeah.
And come in and be like, hey, man, he's one of our best players. He's one of the best guys on our staff. I trusted him. You can fault me all you want for that, but I believe in my players. Win, lose, or draw, your players now have your back because you have their back. When you go, I took him out because we have a magic 8-ball in the locker room, and I shake it, and it tells me who to put in, and I just blindly listen to it. Then your player's like, who the fuck cares?
So, like, is this always coming from the manager, or is there somebody above them in these games?
It's always somebody above them, and we've been talking about it for years, but the situation in baseball is almost like Schneider's been the manager there, I believe, just last season and this season, if I'm not mistaken. I believe a lot of these younger first-time managers get hired by agreeing to this before they take the job. By agreeing, gotcha. I will not override the analytics. Are you okay with us essentially making the decisions for you via analytics? Yes. Okay, you can have the job. Now, meanwhile, right? Who did they lose to?
Twins.
Right. And okay, that's a fucking neither here nor there about the like managerial situation, but you're going against a guy who, again, he played for that team. That can't be factored into the analytics. It cannot be factored into the analytics that he knows them. He knows this team he's pitching against. Conversely, the other AL wildcard series, the Rangers, and what did I say before? I thought the Rays would beat the Rangers. We just went through this a couple years ago with the Rays and Blake Snell in the World Series, right? Meanwhile, you got Bochy over there, who may or may not have left the Giants because of his refusal to listen to analytics. And the Rangers are on to the next round of the playoffs. There is a middle ground here. I love that everybody's like, AI is taking over the world. And then meanwhile, they're like, oh, let's just listen to it.
Yeah, I wonder how that works in game. Like, who's making that call? Who's initiating that? It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible for sports. Analytics are good to a degree.
It should be a factor in your decision.
For sure. But we've seen it again. We've seen it run rampant in the NFL and some of these wildly reckless calls. It's the same thing. Who do you like moving forward?
Well, unfortunately, I think that on both sides of this bracket, the top two teams, certainly in the AL, like I think the AL championship series will be Baltimore and Houston. I think that the Braves will very highly likely get through the Phillies, although tough matchup to draw in the second round a team from your division with some pitchers who have shoved in the playoffs recently and who beat you. So that's going to be tough. I still think the Braves probably are too loaded to get knocked off by the Phillies, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's a good series. And I really thought that the Dodgers' potential of losing would have come from a Brewers team getting through. But I just think the Dodgers there's just no way they lose to a Diamondbacks team. So I think it goes 1-2, 1-2, to be totally honest. And now we've seen it. These teams that get off, it doesn't necessarily help them, but in this season, I think it will. I mean, Dodgers are minus 205, Braves are minus 205 in the opening games.
Well, we have baseball playoffs. We have NFL. Perfect time to crack open some Miller Lites. Right? Enjoy your sports with a nice, cold, refreshing Miller Lite. Doesn't matter the stadium. Doesn't matter whether you're watching on TV. Doesn't matter if you're updating your fantasy roster. Right, Joe? Have a Miller Lite just sitting right by your side to kind of get you through your sports season.
You know, with playoff baseball and the thick of the NFL season, whatever your favorite beer is, I would say, I bet you it tastes just a little bit better when you're watching that. Unfortunately, Miller Lite, the only case where that's not true, because Miller Lite can't taste any better. Sure, it might be nice, but it's art. It doesn't matter what's going on. Miller Lite always tastes great. But what a time. What a time to just have a nice little bucket of Miller Lites in front of you. Have football on one screen, postseason baseball on the other. October. It's got to be up there. I'd say October's got to be a top 3 Miller Lite consuming month.
Well, you guys should make it Miller time all season long. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/dirty sports, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. So we want to introduce a new segment on the show. Miller Lite 6-pack predictions. This will be our lead-in for the NFL Week 5.
Yeah, and I made all of my predictions. I was like, I'll make some predictions for the week. I came up with this idea. I was like, Andy, what about a Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions? We both bring 3 to the table. I've got 3. Looking forward to Week 5 in the NFL. Some of them will sort of tip my hand about how I'm going to pick on games, but not necessarily, because I'm not really going to speak. And also, I don't mind you knowing some of them. But Andy was like, I'm going to have some broader NFL predictions, which I love.
I do.
The 6-pack, we're doing a mixed 6. I've got 3 bottles. You've got 3 cans. A mixed 6-pack of predictions. Andy, since yours are a little bit broader, why don't you go with your first of our 6 Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions, Week 5 NFL?
All right. My first prediction, which will be a callback to earlier in the show, Russell Wilson will not be the Broncos starting quarterback next year.
Wow. Wow. That's a bold. I mean, we're starting out with a bold. That's a tall boy in the Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions. This was going to be my third of 3 predictions, but now it's moving up to the first spot because it's directly related to what you said. Tag teaming it's like when you get one of those 2-pack of tall boys. Broncos Jets this week. Everybody was down on Zach Wilson. Showed us a little something. I'm going to say, and I don't know if you saw the stat, that's the first time that a quarterback outplayed Patrick Mahomes across the board in everything and won the game since before college. Now, you guys can dive in on what that stat actually means. Completion percentage, touchdowns, yards.
And the QB won.
In the QB, right. My prediction, Zach Wilson outplays Russell Wilson this week in Jets Denver. And I'll just, what we'll do is I'll let you tell me that I get the picks first. I'm going to add on to it. Jets win in Denver. Zach Wilson greater than Russ Wilson.
Interesting. And to be honest, I kind of like it. All right, you want to hear my second of my Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions? You're not going to like this one. A constant dirty sports discussion lately. Daniel Jones, a.k.a. Danny Dimes, will not finish his career with more playoff wins than Kirk Cousins.
Wow.
So right now they're 1. They're 1-1.
That's an interesting prediction because essentially, if I had to read between the lines of your prediction, you're essentially predicting Kirk Cousins and Daniel Jones are done winning playoff games for both of their careers.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. You think Kirk Cousins could win another playoff game somewhere, but you don't think Daniel Jones will.
Correct.
Okay. Interesting. Coming at my guy. That's fine.
I'm coming at your guy.
Go
ahead.
This one, also on the quarterback front, since you're still doing it, this one doesn't, I don't think, tip my hand too closely on the pick of the game, so I'm not worried about that. Brock Purdy looks human versus the Cowboys this week. I love Brock Purdy. I do. And the reason I love Brock Purdy is I think everybody gets a little bit too caught up in quarterback statistics when the fact of the matter is your job as a quarterback is to lead your team to wins. And I love that Brock Purdy has found a way to do that, has stepped up in San Francisco. But we haven't really seen him get tested. I don't think the Cowboys necessarily win this game, nor do I necessarily think Brock Purdy looks bad. But I think this will be the first sign in Brock Purdy's young career, besides the injury in the NFC Championship game, that says he still has some growing to do. Brock Purdy looks human versus the Cowboys.
Okay.
He's not going 20 for 21, that's for sure.
My last Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions, a non-football, but a dirty sports-related prediction. No dirtballs will be arrested in New Orleans during the weekend of our 1000th episode.
I hate this prediction from you, Andy, mostly because of the Andy Ruther curse and because I don't want dirtballs to be arrested. Like, I want you to have a great time in New Orleans. I can't wait for you guys to be there. We have tickets available, Comedy House NOLA, for our 1000th live episode, and then also for the 2 stand-up comedy shows to follow. We're going to go to games. I've put a little brief rundown of our events on Reddit, which I will I've removed the Reddit app from my phone. I will no longer be going on Reddit.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah.
That is wow.
What an unbelievable unbelievably great thing, I thought, last episode for us. Like, what an honor for us to have 3 comedy legends like slum it a little bit and come on the Dirty Sports Podcast. They're doing a worldwide tour of promotions. They slum it on the Dirty Sports Podcast, and we have Redditors being like, nah, anybody else bored? I'm like, I'm never going on Reddit again. I literally can't. I can't with like the I owe you not. I've never felt stronger about we owe you nothing. How dare you?
You'll be
and by the way,
you'll be back on. You'll be
no,
back
I won't.
on.
And by the way,
You
to
said the
those
same
people,
thing about Twitter.
I'm
You'll
so
be back
sorry
on.
that we played a long clip from the Club Shay Shay and we talked about Russell Wilson in Seattle. I know it was years ago, so sorry for us to go throwing back conversations. I hope it wasn't too hard for you guys to fast forward through that.
Can I make another Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions? Joe Praino will be back on Reddit arguing with dirtballs within the next month.
No. Now we're doing a bonus 7th pick. Okay. My third
100%
and
you will
final, the wrap of this Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions. This week in Minnesota, Chiefs offensive explosion and bananas Kelsey game. I think there is some truth to the pressure-filled Taylor Swift. I'm calling them Trailer Swelsey. That's my celebrity nickname for them. Trailer Swelsey. People don't want to pretend that it's happening, but I think Trailer Swelsey affected the Chiefs on Sunday night. Now they're going to be playing in Minnesota, where a city where they don't even know celebrities exist. Like you couldn't be more in Canada while still being in the United States than being in Minneapolis. Literally, no one gives a fuck what's going on in Minnesota. Chiefs go up there. Fun fact for you, the Vikings defense has allowed X completion percentage by opposing QBs this year. What's your guess, Andy?
68.
76.6%. QBs against the Vikings are completing 76.6% of their passes. Offensive explosion by the Chiefs in Minnesota. Travis Kelce, pound the Kelce overs, pound the over completions, pound the over yards, pound the first TD, pound the anytime 2 TD scorer.
Wow.
And that's it. That's your Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions. It's making me want a Miller Lite. I might have to see if they leave the comedy club unlocked. Ride this beach cruiser over there.
Well, I like this because I'm actually excited to get to these picks because you have tipped your hand a little, which
I've tipped my hand a little.
Which by the way is fine because I'm not changing some of my picks.
Yeah, I would never.
We're gonna have some differing opinions on these games. So I'm excited about that. All right, you want to hop into these picks?
Let's do it.
Week 5. You're playing catch up a little again.
Not worried. Well, I only lost one game last week.
Yeah, but I like to get out in front. That's the Andy Ruther move.
Yeah,
I like to get out in front. Before we get to the first game, I want to say I can't handle these type of games, dude. I just can't. Like, I don't know what they got to do, but God, come on, guys. I know they're already flexing stuff, and I know players hate it, but Bears.
They're already flexing stuff?
No, they're not already flexing stuff, but there's going to be the option to flex earlier on Thursday nights, right? I don't think flexing on Thursday was an option.
Okay.
Before this year. Anyway, Bears Commanders. I could not be less interested in this game.
You cannot be more or less interested.
I really couldn't.
Your greatness for your lack of interest could not be higher.
Yeah.
It's very hard. I'm now the Zach Galifianakis math meme trying to dissect your sentence.
I couldn't be less interested.
I'm going to go check out the Hemingway house here in Key West. I don't think Hemingway would like that sentence.
Well, to be honest,
the greatness in my lack of interest in this game could not be the greater. Hemingway, he was like, "Well, I'm not going to kill myself now because I'm just going to have
You want to hear a take? You want to hear a take?
Yeah.
Hemingway overrated.
Wow. I was never the biggest fan. I got to say, listen, I thought Old Man in the Sea was meh.
I was about to say, how long am I going to read about the guy? Dude, fucking.
Yeah. Catch the fucking fish or let it go already.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Yeah. And then there was another one that I didn't read like most of the Hemingway shit. Like I think I've read 3 or 4 books. A Farewell to Arms, Old Man in the Sea. There's another one. What's the one where he's like in Spain? Whatever. But apparently his estate here is beautiful, and that he has one of the first pools in like Florida. Like he had a saltwater pool in the 1930s. And I read about this today. Apparently, he got so angry at his wife. He said, "You spent so much of our money on this fucking pool. You spent everything but my last penny. So here's my last penny." And he threw it at her, and that penny is still there. So that's interesting. I'm going to go check that out.
Still where?
Embedded into the fucking concrete by the pool or something like that.
It's a wild story.
This is all on Wikipedia. Anyway, I am going to sadly agree with you. Ernest Hemingway, overrated. House, I'll let you know after.
You have locked up again. Have I locked up?
Yeah. I love the picture of me locked up is hilarious.
Bro, the picture of you locked up is amazing. It's like somebody just walked in, or you walked in on, it's like you walked in on people you should not be watching have sex.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're up in a balcony.
Do you want to try to reconnect?
What did I do last time? Do we remember?
Yeah, you left and then came back.
Okay, I'll leave and come back, and you can start laying out
the fort down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be back momentarily.
Okay, so we have Washington and Chicago. Now, the Commanders, they showed me something last week. I knew I should have taken them to cover that spread. They showed me something. They came back against the Eagles. They tied it. They sent it to overtime. It's actually a really fun game to watch. A little back and forth game. But they're not the most exciting team to watch. Hence, I'm not too interested for tonight's game. We all know about Chicago. Absolute dumpster fire. Basically, the football team has taken on the moniker that everybody says about Chirac and Southside Chicago and all the violence, all the murders, just straight up carnage. The football team is that. It's just a disaster, right? Now, they played a good first half last week. And that's what we're clinging on to now, Bears fans. We're clinging on to first halves. Let's bring Joe back in. He's back.
I'm back. You're back. Can we talk about how we've talked about this before, but it's unbelievable. Can we talk about how the avatar of the guy entering the StreamYard studio is just me? He's got like a mustache and like a swoopy side part.
That is true.
Does everybody's change? Like, is that just the way mine looks? If you log on to StreamYard, is it a guy in a minor league baseball hat wearing a Gold Star t-shirt? Like what? I feel triggered.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you hear me just destroying the Bears?
No,
franchise?
I heard nothing.
I said they basically taken on the moniker of the city of Chirac and murders and South Side.
Oh, okay.
I said the team is just carnage. Like, it's a disaster. And I don't really care for this game. We all know how
What is the spread on this game?
6 points, Washington.
Wow. Did you make a prediction?
I did not. I was about to do that. When in doubt on games like this, where both teams are like, I don't know what to think, I always got to take the under or the underdog. So I'm going to take the Bears.
Thursday night, the idea of watching. I'd like to say something about the you obviously went off on Chicago and Bears. Can I do something? The Commanders. Let me just go to this right now. I just want to confirm before I talk crazy. The Commanders are 2-2. I know they play. I know they played a close game against the Eagles.
Yeah, I was talking
right?
about that. It was a fun game to watch, actually. Good back.
Played a close game against the Eagles, overtime. How you don't go for 2 at the end of regulation, I don't know.
No, I was hoping they would.
On the road,
I know. And they just came back and they scored in the last play of the game. You have momentum.
they absolutely got murdered by the Bills. They're 2-2 with a total of 6 points victories. Total 6-point victories against the Cardinals and the Broncos. Then they got murdered by the Bills and they played. Can we stop with this? Like, the Commanders are sneaky good. No, they're not. I'm taking the Bears. They're not sneaky good. Stop it.
I mean, they might go 8-9, 9-8.
First of all, I doubt it. And second of all,
okay.
Are we giving out trophies for that now?
If you're a Lions fan last year, you were.
Right. Well, of course. Yes. But that's why we can't say it enough. Lions fans are some of the most delusional humans on planet Earth.
I think they all are. That's what we got to get to. We just have to accept, like you've said, every NFL fan base is just next level delusional. So we both agree the Bears will cover.
Yes.
Okay. Moving to Sunday, we have another London game.
London.
Luckily, I get to watch this one because last week didn't realize till game time, ESPN Plus only, which is bullshit for the record.
And this week is where?
It's on the NFL Network.
Sorry, remind me. Last week's game was?
It was Jags. I'm sorry, not Jags Cardinals. The other bird, Jags Falcons.
And this week is Jags
Bills. So the Jags have stayed there.
Wow. Because I saw somebody talking about Jags in London. I was like, weren't the Jags just in London? This feels like we've been talking about this forever. Jags to London. Is this just a?
I don't know.
Unreal too. I know it's the Jags are not like this crazy whatever franchise, but it does feel weird of all the teams that were like shipping over to like proper London. We're sending over fucking the team from Jacksonville. Their fans are over there. It's just like, so y'all just don't have Chick-fil-A? It's just not here? What the fuck is going on?
I'm not seeing many Jags fans hopping on a flight.
No. You know why? Because most Jags fans have never been on an airplane.
Yes.
They're like, man,
it
Plus seems a lot safer to me.
They should rename they should change their logo from Jacksonville Jaguars to Jacksonville Florida Man.
Yeah.
It should just be a Florida man with a mullet.
Yeah.
And a cigarette in his mouth. This spread is ridiculous to me. It's 5.5. I know I went first. I'm already tipping my hand. Doesn't matter. You can go first.
Oh no. Wait, sorry. Is it my turn to go first?
Yeah, it's your turn to go first.
And it's the Bills are favored by 5.5 over the Jags.
Correct.
And you think that this spread is ludicrous because it's too high?
Yes.
Interesting.
I'm 100% taking the Jags.
So the only thing that makes me want to agree with you is that the Jags have been there.
That's my point.
So it does seem like an extremely high spread when you consider that the Bills are traveling to London to essentially play. But at the same time, the Bills look really fucking good.
They do.
And the Jags do not. This is a tough one. I actually don't think this spread is crazy. It's why it's making me question it.
Take the Bills.
I'm thinking about it. I'm just thinking about the 5.5. Backdoor Lawrence scares me. I mean, we both agree that the Bills win this game? Or you think do you think the Jags have a shot at winning this game?
I think they have a shot. I think the Bills win. I think they have a shot, though.
Could be some value there. If you're a money line underdog better. I'll take the Bills to cover.
Okay.
That is a well played Vegas spread there. I love that. We have our only differing opinion on this. We both think the Bills win the game, but our only differing opinion. You're like, this spread is wild. I'm like, this spread is. They fucking nailed it. I'm like, it really makes it hard. Like, to me, if it was a 3.5 point game, I'd obviously take the Bills. And to me, if it was a 7 point game, I'd be like, I don't know, man. 7 when you're traveling seems like crazy. I think they kind of nailed it. At least in terms of conning the everyman into betting one way or the other. That's what Vegas does, Andy. They need equal money on opposite sides of the line. They've got you on one side and me on the other.
Well, they're expanding as well. I don't know if you saw this. I think they're going to, they got games now. They started playing some games in Germany. I saw they're going to add, I think, Spain. The NFL takeover. It's happening. Okay, Texans, Falcons. This one is in Atlanta. Atlanta's 1.5 point favorites. Both teams 2-2. CJ Stroud's looked pretty good as a rookie. Conversely, Desmond Ridder has struggled. I never bought him being a pro quarterback in the NFL. I just, he was, he's a Cincinnati guy, so I got to see him play a lot and got to see him play live a few times. He was a really nice quarterback, and they had a great season when they lost to Alabama in that playoff game. But I don't know. I'm basically saying, do I take the rookie or do I take the vet? Now, Bijan Robinson's had a nice season so far.
Absolutely.
So who's going first, technically?
You, technically.
Okay. I will take the Texans.
Great. I was trying not to talk a lot because I'm going to take the Falcons. And my explanation is this. I actually have been very impressed with CJ Stroud so far. And again, I'm not rooting against the Bill O'Brien's gone, so I'm not rooting against the Texans anyway. The people of Houston have been nothing but nice to me, even though I hate the state of Texas overall. So my point is I have no personal opinions on either of these teams whatsoever. But it feels to me like this has started a little too well for this rookie quarterback. I think CJ Stroud is going to be fine, but it seems a little too early to tell. The likelihood of a rookie continuing to play so great and play on the road. I'm just going to go with a ball controlling, run the ball, field goal victory for the Falcons.
All right. Moving along, we have our Cats game. Man, Cat Jason Kidd must be loving this. He's a Lions fan and he's a Cat fan. Panthers and Lions. Meow. We are in Detroit for this. Lions are 10-point favorites.
Wow. Huge.
Big spread.
Big spread.
Also, speaking of rookie quarterbacks, Bryce Young has struggled. Lions defense has been playing great.
This is tough.
Spread.
That spread's big. I feel like my hatred of Lions fans is going to continue to wear on me throughout the course of the season, and I feel like this might be my new Raiders. The Lions might be my new Raiders. No matter what I do, they're going to fuck me. I'm going to take the Lions to cover. Lions fans, did you hear that? I'm going to take you to cover. Please leave me alone. Fix the infrastructure of your city. Get some of those houses that are selling for $1 repainted. Get in the mentions of people who are leaving Eminem out of their top 5 rappers. But for God's sakes, leave me the fuck alone.
I think the line be
Detroit versus everybody. How about Detroit versus Joe Praino for some reason? Fuck. Am I everybody? Leave me alone. I couldn't give a fuck less about your team to steal an Andy Ruther sentence structure. I don't care. I picked you to cover. I think that's a ludicrously high spread. I can't wait to get fucked by you.
Wow.
And somehow have Dan Campbell still painted as a victory.
The good news is I agree with you. I think the Lions just beat the shit out of them. I think the Lions are going to start 4-1. There you go, guys.
Now leave us alone.
No, the Lions fans are fine.
Lions fans, take it
You
to our
get-
Reddit. I'll
you-
never
you're-
read it.
Yeah, bullshit. Again, guys, keep it, mark it down.
Though the good thing with me is I very rarely get on this laptop unless I'm recording Dirty Sports or in case I'm doing some other sort of like serious business work.
I have the Reddit app. You don't have the app?
I deleted it.
Ah,
I deleted the Reddit app from my phone.
guys, let's start all these fun forums about things that would entice Joe to bring it back on.
I won't know because I won't see it.
You'll be back. You'll be back. Lions are going to start 4-1 though. It's crazy. All right, we got a nice little AFC South battle in Indianapolis. Titans, Colts. Tennessee is a 2-point favorite. Is Richardson playing?
I do
I mean, he
not
played
know.
last week, right?
Yeah, he did.
Why is Tennessee a 2-point favorite?
Where is it?
It's in Indianapolis.
Ooh, I don't know. It's a great question. I think because they're so fucking hot and cold, and last week they
beat the
were.
shit out of the Bengals.
Yeah. Are you saying you feel like Indianapolis should be favored?
Yeah, they're at home. Both teams are 2-2.
So you're taking the Colts.
No, I'm not.
This motherfucker.
I'm not taking the Colts because I like Vrabel against a rookie quarterback.
Same. That's what I was. You stole the words right out of my mouth, Andy. So there you go. I like it when you talk it out and you finally get there. You're like, why is this spread too? And it's like, oh yeah, I know that. Why now?
All right, so we're both taking Tennessee. All right, ya boys. Can't wait to talk about this. Your boys are wow, it's up to 11.5-point underdogs against the Dolphins. I don't know what happened Monday in New Jersey, but it was
Well, I
not
think
pretty.
we all know what happened. It was a fucking absolute massacre. And now Evan Neal. Did you see the Evan Neal thing?
Yeah, remind me about it.
Evan Neal is going at fans because some of the unbelievable clips from Monday night, included Evan Neal blocking a Giants player off of a defender that player was blocking to lead to one of the 11 sacks that the Giants had. I mean, am I going first in this game? Is that what we're?
Yeah.
The Giants, in my opinion, this is one of the great NFL issues, is you have a team like the Giants with such history of success. The Giants should be in tank mode. They probably won't be in tank mode. I'm not going to put myself through any extra pain in going to this game and also losing a point. I think that the Giants do get their ass fucking murdered by the Dolphins in Miami. The way the defense has been, meh. And so I'm not super worried about the Dolphins dropping 80 on them or whatever. But my God, the Seahawks came into Monday night with like the 18th ranked defense in football. They got 11 sacks.
Yeah, it was a massacre. And that pick six was bad. Now, granted, he was getting his ass kicked, but like that was just a bad.
Well, I think that's okay. So there's levels of these things when you discuss quarterbacks and their ability to handle that kind of shit. And the one thing about, like, no quarterback's going to look good when they're getting fucked, right? Like, if a team gets sacked 11 times, I know there's been a lot of conversation this week about Daniel Jones and I think that that's dumb personally, but also there is a second layer to that, which is great quarterbacks. And I think that's where you have to be in the NFL these days. You need to have a quarterback that you think projects to be great one way or the other. Daniel Jones being good or Daniel Jones being okay or Daniel Jones being enough is what, the internet can debate that all they want. But great quarterbacks don't get skittish even though they're getting fucking hammered. Like, people can shit on Eli Manning's career all they want. Like, the guy didn't give a fuck if he best example ever, the San Francisco 49ers NFC Championship game. The dude got murdered throughout the game, and he didn't give a fuck. Picked himself up off the ground. He won the football game. Great quarterbacks keep you in the game, even if they're getting it. And I think that's what was telling about Daniel Jones that game. We can I'll let the internet play the game of Daniel Jones sucks because his offensive line was blocking guys off defenders, and he literally on certain plays had just free guys running at him. But one thing is for sure, great quarterbacks let that shit slide and continue. Like, there's multiple incidents in the game where he said, I got the wrong read, I got the wrong this, and people are like, well, the offensive line didn't do him any favors. And it's like, you're absolutely right. But that pick six, when they came down to, he was getting murdered, and in what was a very Eli Manning-ish situation, they had a drive to pull the game to 14-10, and then who cares if you're in the football game. And that pick six was killed. That, like you put on Twitter, which couldn't have been more correct, that pick six was the end of the Giants season.
Yeah, 100%. All right,
and they should be thanking. And I'm going to add this. I know that the Giants have this historic franchise of success or whatever. If I was Caleb Williams, I would say add the Giants to the list of teams I don't want to play for, because I don't want to go to a place and not be protected whatsoever. And I know Andrew Thomas is out, and it's Andrew Thomas being out is bigger than Saquon being out. No doubt about it.
By the way,
we're not a left tackle away from having a good offensive line.
Saquon's also realizing this is why guys don't pay running backs. Like, you were the guy. Look how many games he's missed 2 games. He's missed 2 games already.
Well, that's kind of the thing of the, that's one of the dumb arguments I think in Giants fan or like media talking head Twitter sphere. Oh man, the Giants could have tagged Daniel Jones and paid Saquon Barkley. Would you feel better about that right now if you had paid Saquon Barkley?
No.
He's not even on the fucking field.
Yeah, it's dumb. That's real dumb. All right, we're both going to take Dolphins. Moving along, Saints, Patriots in New England. Dude, New England looks bad. They just look bad. They're a 1-point favorite.
And I guess that question is how, because New Orleans is traveling north and because Derek Carr is probably starting even though he's hurt.
I'm taking the Saints, man.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, not only the Patriots look bad, they're losing guys left and right. What's crazy is it feels like Belichick stuck around to break the wins record, and now he's like, dude, you're going to have to play 14 more seasons to break the wins record if you can't get a win.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been easy life without Brady. All right, we're both taking the Saints. Ooh, nice little AFC North battle here in Pittsburgh. Ravens, Steelers. Baltimore's 4-point favorites. Baltimore's looked good. They've had a lot of injuries too. Lamar's playing pretty well. Again, they're not asking him to do too much. He's had a nice year. He's not turning the ball over. He's completing a lot of his passes. He's kind of flying under the radar. I do have to laugh about something real quick. Remember when Lamar said he wanted to throw for 5,000 yards? Which is hilarious because Lamar Jackson's never thrown for 4,000 yards. And he said he wanted to throw for 5,000. He's projected to have like 3,400 this year if he keeps at the same pace. Which, whatever. Again, I'm not knocking it. They're winning, but it's funny to
like
me.
you said, which again probably beneficial for the team.
100%. 100%.
Even given the state of offenses in the NFL, and I'm going to lump the Chiefs into this. I'm going to lump the Chargers into this. If you ask me before the season, just yes or no, as a head coach, you're the head coach of a football team. Do you want your NFL quarterback throwing for 5,000 yards? I'd say 100% no. It means we have almost no balance whatsoever. And I think that makes us susceptible to lose a game in the playoffs.
Well, again, Patrick Mahomes became the first quarterback ever last year to lead the league in passing yards and also win a Super Bowl. This spread is 4 points. Steelers looked terrible last week. Is Pickett playing?
Where is this game?
In Pittsburgh. Pickett says he expects to play. All right, I'm up first. That extra point is too much for me. These games are tough, man.
Whoa.
4 points.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Steelers.
I agree with your thinking. Division game in Pittsburgh. 3 seems like the obvious play. If it was 3, it would be a coin flip. I would take the Ravens. With it 4, it makes me want to take if it's the 4 is putting me on it, I'm going to take the Ravens just because of how bad the Steelers looked. And even though I'm a Kenny Pickett defender, I don't necessarily need a hobbled Kenny Pickett. I'll take the Ravens to cover.
You're taking the Ravens on 4.
Yeah, I don't like it. If it was 3, I'd feel great about it.
Yeah, you know how many of these games come down to a field goal.
100%. Justin Tucker kicking a field goal for the win as I lose this pick. I mean, when I say I can literally see it,
yeah,
I can see it. I'm seeing it right now. It's happening. I've already watched it.
100%. All right, later games. Eagles, Rams in Los Angeles. Eagles are 4.5-point favorites. You're up.
Am I first? This is not the Eagles hater in me. I just think I know it'll be a very heavy Eagles. There's going to be no home field advantage here for the Rams.
There never is.
But the Eagles haven't looked the Eagles so far. Sean McVay does some things. It's a close game. Eagles win. Rams cover. 3.5, 3.5 or 4, maybe 4.5. I'll go Rams.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think this game stays close. Eagles have not looked like they did last year when they were just blowing teams out. McVay's staying in games, man. I think he's doing a pretty nice job, minus that Bengals game with the play calling. Almost blew it last week, but they still got the dub. All right, we're both going to agree. Rams cover at 4.5. All right, Bengals, Cardinals. This is a toughie. 2 1-3 teams. The Bengals are 3-point favorites.
In Arizona.
I've thought a lot about this game.
I know, yeah, because you're a Bengals fan.
Well, I just live here and I read, talk about delusional fan bases. Right. I read a lot of it. It's comical. I did listen to Justin in the Jungle. Shout out to Randy Ruther. He's got a Bengals podcast.
Yeah, he's got a Bengals podcast. And I believe he had Dirtball Tyler McCoy, his cousin, on the show.
Well, I didn't hear that. I heard after the Sunday loss to the Titans.
Oh, okay.
That was the most disappointed he said he's ever been.
There's no way that's true.
I think he said it hurt watching what they were doing with Burrow. I believe did I hear him correctly? Like it hurt worse than, or like it went back to the Burfict game, the Carson Palmer shred the knee game. Like it was that level.
What about the dude falling off the pickup truck? That's not up in the. He didn't list that.
Chris Henry
falling off the pickup. How about TJ Hushmanzada being released? This is not worse.
No.
Hoosh 1 of 1. That wasn't his worst. That wasn't his lowest day.
This is a tough one, man. I picked the Bengals last week, and I regretted it later on because my gut was telling me they were just going to bring the house. I don't believe anything Joe Burrow's saying right now. Like yesterday, he's point blank told a reporter.
You think he really does like chili?
No,
that you believe.
I don't think he lies about how he feels about Skyline. What I do think he's lying about is when he tells a reporter, because take it one of, I'm just gonna, you probably didn't see this quote from him. He's asked if it's affecting his throws. He said not at all. It's like, dude, you have the lowest completion percentage in the NFL. So either you're telling the truth and you just forgot how to throw a football, or you're blatantly lying in that, again, I've seen it live. You can't push off that calf. Either way, it's not good. Now, Arizona beat the shit out of Dallas. They've played teams tough. But also, the back of my head just keeps telling me, it's the same way I was doing last week, but this week even more so. The Bengals are not going to lose this game. Like, in my head, I'm saying, are they going to lose this game? Like, I legit think the Bengals have a good shot at winning this, winning next week. Then they're fine. They're back at 3-3, right? Then there's a bye. But they've looked so bad. The Bengals have here's a fun fact. The Bengals have the worst overall offense in the NFL for yards.
Mm-hmm.
Why would it suddenly change? That's what I keep toying with. My head keeps saying, pick the Bengals, pick the Bengals, pick the Bengals. But I'm also just like, why would it suddenly change? Let me ask you this before we make our picks.
Okay.
If you're a Bengals fan,
yeah,
do you want to go 1-4? Because then they might just put him on injured reserve.
There are no Bengals fans that, maybe Justin's the only one. There's 5% of Bengals fans. There's less than 5% of Bengals fans that is their train of thought. Yeah, I just think no.
I'm asking you if
I think he should have started the season on the bench.
Okay.
And they should have gotten to the bye week and hoped to be 2-3 or 3-3 or 2-4 or whatever.
But they still can, is my point.
I know, but it's too late for that now. They've already made their bed. He's going to play.
It's crazy. I'm going to pull this up real quick. It's absolutely crazy what Jamar Chase said on August 4th. Watch this.
Do you have any doubt that he'll be there week 1?
I told him, and with all honesty, I don't want him there.
You don't want him to play week 1?
Same thing with me last year.
You want him week 20 for the AFC Championship game.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And I sat out an extra game just to let my hip all the way heal up. And, you don't want to cause no other problems later on in the season. I told him, as long as you're there after week 5 and on, we're good, brother.
What did he say to that? I'm sorry. Did he respond to that?
I mean, he just told me, he's going to see how he feels when the time comes. He doesn't know when he'll be back, but, he'll be back soon. And
okay, so the point of me playing this is it's nuts that Jamar Chase says this on August 4th, come back after week 5. He was the only one who saw this? My point is, like, that's his boy, dude. That's his NFL.
And he knows he's like, Jamar still has not signed his deal, right?
No, because he's a year younger.
So what's crazy is he's not thinking about, oh man, I need Burrow to get my numbers to fucking, when your agent goes to the table, they're going to point to all your shit, blah, 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 blah. He's just like, man, we're just trying to win.
Exactly. And if he's saying this 2 months ago now, hey, come back after week 5 again, let's skate through, because that's an easy part of the schedule. Let's go 2-3 with the backup. Joe comes back fully healthy, and then we just rip off wins like we did last year.
And what's crazy is, like, that didn't have to be set in stone. Like, maybe him not playing would have made it heal, and maybe he would have been there healthy. Maybe last week versus the Titans would have been the first game back, and maybe they'd be 2-2 right now.
Yeah, I know. So look, obviously I've gone back and forth. The 3-point favorites. I'm going to do it. I think I don't know. I have enough faith. What is that little smirk you have on your face?
I'm like, bro, you've been dancing around it. We all know you're taking the Bengals to cover. Just do it already.
I'm just doing it. I think I don't know if it's going to
do
be pretty.
A 20-minute segment, including fucking clips, just for you to eventually man up and be like, I think they win and cover.
I think they win and cover.
And I agree with you. And here's why. I think the Bengals fan base, like all these fan bases that we've talked about, is so delusional that they're going to talk themselves into. We were 2-3 last year. We were 2-3 last year.
They already are. They're already saying.
And now we're 2-3. So what? I guess we're playing in the AFC Championship game. When the fact of the matter is, I think they win and cover. And I think it's that kind of thinking, not just from the fan base, but all the way up through the organization, that is hurting you in the long run. You were 2-3 last year. It's not last year.
You want to hear a fun fact too about those 3 losses last year? I know off the top of my head. Guess how many points they lost those 3 games by last year? 9.
6.
Each was a field goal loss.
Right, that's right.
Two of them were as time expired. The first two was
Right.
like a lot different than losing 27-3.
Yeah.
What, twice now?
And listen, this is why I think it's going to happen. I think that thinking, when we talk about delusional fan bases, and we've sort of agreed everybody is to some degree, you don't want that in your organization. You don't want your attitude toward your team to be the same as your Reddit.
I agree. And I put this on the coach. Dude, you got to put your foot down. He's not going to say, I'm sitting out this week. You have to say to him. Let me ask you this real quick, and then I want to move on. Just because this is a generic question, it goes beyond Burrow. At what point does this kind of situation for any quarterback, does it get to a point, Joe, where like you're actually hurting your team by refusing to not play?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, there's certainly.
Like you're being selfish. Like, do you think Joe Burrow is being selfish right now?
I don't necessarily think he's being selfish. I think he has a large amount of hubris here, where he is, I can do it. I'll show you I can do it. I can be better than our backup. When it's really, I can be better than our backup even though I'm hobbled. When that's not the point. That's not the fucking point. It's not that you're a better option hobbled than the guy behind you. It's that you're a better option healthy, even if it costs us some wins.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. All right, Jets, Broncos, you kind of tipped your hat in this.
But I pick first.
You do.
So it's fine. I have the Jets to win the game in Denver. Zach Wilson outplays Russell Wilson.
I like it. That's where I was leaning already. Jets, Jets win and cover.
I know people are sick about hearing about Taylor Swift, but we've got to talk about the Jets conspiracy theory.
It's nuts. What the
thing
I sent,
believe in that 1,000,000,000%.
You remember the thing I sent you?
Yeah.
It's here's the thing.
She's done this before, Andy.
It's a crazy theory.
She's done this before, which is what I replied to you with.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift is a search engine optimization wizard.
When you Google.
Okay. I'm going to pull it up because I saw this on TikTok. It's pretty insane. So actually, you explain it first, and then I'm going to play it.
So Taylor Swift has had a couple of scandals, quote unquote scandals. One of them, probably the biggest one, and probably the one that is the most indefensible, is Taylor Swift was ranked number 1. She was ranked as the number 1 celebrity waster of fossil fuels. She flies her private jet more than anyone flies her private jet. And of course, the first thing that happened is Swifties came in. They're like, what is she supposed to do? Queue up and fly Southwest? And then the people who were responsible for this were like, well, first of all, she took private jets to places where she could have driven an hour instead of flying for 8 minutes. So that's fucking bullshit. And second of all, a lot of her private jet usage has been for not her, but she loans it out to friends and family to use her private jet. So if you gave any fuck about the environment whatsoever, yeah, Taylor Swift can't fly fucking Southwest, but Taylor Swift can drive when it's a 90-minute drive instead of flying her private jet for 6 minutes. And two, maybe you don't give your sister or your brother or your mother or your cousin or Blake Lively or whatever your private jet to go fucking shopping. So if you put Taylor Swift jet into Twitter or into Google search engine, boom, the Taylor Swift wasting of fossil fuels. Taylor Swift search engine magician goes to a Jets game. So now if you put Taylor Swift jet into Google, it's all pictures of her cheering on Travis Kelce at the Jets game. By the way, she did this once before to prove this conspiracy theory. She did this once before. Her ex-boyfriend, Matty Healy, was getting into some hot water because he's super into degradation porn and said that he can only basically come when he sees black women getting abused, and then made fun of Ice Spice, who's like a rapper, for a few minutes on some podcasts. So if you put Taylor Swift Ice Spice in, it was this whole story about her ex-boyfriend, her now ex-boyfriend, making racial jokes at Ice Spices. And then suddenly, literally a week after that, Taylor Swift had a song featuring Ice Spice. Who are you, Lil Wayne? We're doing features on Taylor Swift songs now? Taylor Swift featuring Ice Spice. So now suddenly if you Google Taylor Swift Ice Spice, none of the fucking racist shit comes up. Just her song comes up.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. This is, again, if true, this is the jet theory that she wanted to change the search engine optimization of when people put in Taylor Swift and in jets. And this is the video from TikTok.
When you Google Taylor Swift jets, you would get articles about her jet. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I said the Jets did not deserve all that publicity with Taylor Swift. It didn't make sense, but now it does. That is a brilliant take. Of course. She went to the Jets game for SEO reputation busting. So when you Google Taylor Swift and the Jets, you don't get the story about her jet emissions, which most of those articles were digital articles, by the way. You're going to get Taylor Swift at the Jets game. Brilliant.
Now, unfortunately, the Chiefs do not play at the Falcons this year. If they did, she could go to Georgia and drink a gin and tonic. And then when you searched Taylor Swift, Ginny in Georgia, you wouldn't have the story about how she had a couple of Netflix creators canceled because they made a very simple joke about her. Instead, you would have Taylor Swift at a game in Georgia drinking a gin. But unfortunately, they do not play there this year. Perhaps maybe her next NFL tight end will be Kyle Pitts. Who knows? Who knows where it goes? Who knows how deep her evil lurks?
Well, look, here's the thing, and then we'll get to the pick. I'm fascinated that whether it's her or her team cares so much. Again, if this is all true, it's next level. I mean, it is brilliant, but it's also next level.
Yeah, by the way, Lex Luthor's plan to detonate a nuclear device under the eastern seaboard of the United States of America so that all of it fell into the ocean and suddenly all the land that he bought, whatever, all the land that he bought in the Midwest then became oceanfront was also a brilliant plan. It was also fucking evil.
So you think we have a big Chiefs explosion? I see the spread has dropped actually a little. The Chiefs are 4-point favorites. I'm going to disagree with you, Joe. You're up.
Go!
You're taking the Chiefs. There's something in me, and I have nothing to back it up. Something in me says I think the Vikings cover this spread somehow. I don't know how. I think they somehow cover it.
I said it before. I'll say it again. First of all, inside Minnesota, I don't even think a paparazzi would go to Minnesota if you paid them. You've got a defense giving up 76% completion percentage to opposing teams. I'm going Chiefs offensive explosion. Yeah, the Vikings might stay in the game, but not enough.
But see, that's why. Those stats are telling me. That's why I'm going to try to do the opposite. You think he's just going to throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he might, but I don't know. It's good to have a different pick there, though. Sunday night football game, we got a great game, or a potential for a great game. Cowboys-Niners in the Bay. Niners are 4. Ooh, this was 3.5 before. Niners are now 4-point favorites. What do you think?
Am I first here? Technically, it doesn't matter. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I've already also tipped my hand on this, but not really. So I think this will be our first, like I said in our Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions, our first Brock Purdy is human thing. I think that the 49ers just do such a great job of he's like Jared Goff on the Rams, but like with a little bit more moxie, And the thing is, I like that. I think Brock Purdy, listen, right now the Niners are still my NFC Super Bowl pick, and it's like not even fucking close. And I think the Niners win this game. And 4 is tough. I'm on the fence about it because I think he's going to have to drive the ball downfield at some point. The Cowboys defense is too good just to play that. I just think they have too many playmakers to do we're going to do a toss to McCaffrey on every 2nd and 10 and cut it to 2nd and 3 or 3rd and 3 and then throw a screen to Deebo Samuel. I think their defense is too good. That being said, I think it's a close game, but I think the Niners pull away late. I think the Cowboys have a chance to tie this game late, but they don't get it done. I think the Niners cover. But I think it's going to be a good close game because I think this is our first Brock Purdy is human scare.
I mean, it was a pretty hard-fought game last time they played in the playoffs. It was 19-12. It was 9-9.
Exactly. It was 19-12. It
was 9-9 heading into the fourth quarter.
It's kind of what I'm predicting, by the way.
I like the Niners a lot right now. The extra point. I'm gonna agree because I think it's a 3-point game.
What's crazy is where do the fucking Niners lose a game this year?
Oh, come on.
I know.
This game possibly.
This game possibly. Next game at Cleveland, more possibly, right? Now that's a defense that gets after it. But after that, you got Vikings, Bengals, Jaguars, Bucks, Seahawks. I mean, in Seattle with a Pete Carroll team, Eagles.
They'll lose at least twice. 2 or 3 games, I bet. They'll lose 2 or 3 games.
I guess the question is this one of them?
Possibly. We have another stinker.
We're both picking the Niners.
Yeah. Oh no, you're taking the Niners?
I am taking the Niners. I'm taking them to cover, even though I think it's a close game. I basically said exactly what you said. I basically predict.
I'm taking the Cowboys.
You're taking the Cowboys.
Yeah, to cover.
Oh, okay. Great. Fantastic.
It's 4.
Yeah.
That's why I said that. That's why I said it'd be different if it was 3.
Okay, here we go.
I don't like it, but I'm gonna do it. I hate not as much as I don't like how the Raiders are again. Dude, we just got them on Sunday Night Football. Now we have them on Monday Night Football. Ugh. I hate this. Why do the Raiders have 2 out of 3 weeks on prime time? Raiders are a point underdog at home against the Packers. I don't know. I'm going to take the Packers.
Is there any reason other than, I guess, like, other than the Packers' disappointing game against the Lions, is there any reason that someone would take the Raiders in this game?
I don't know. They're at home.
And the that Packers game was last Thursday.
Correct.
So extra long week. Take the Packers to win and cover.
All right, those are the picks.
Aiden O'Connell. Is he starting for the fucking Raiders?
I don't think it really matters, does it?
No.
You got a nice little stash going.
Aiden O'Connell sounds like a B-list actor from the 90s.
Yeah, he does.
Jerry O'Connell, Chris O'Donnell, Aiden O'Connell. Like, all of them were in fucking Dead Poets Society or something.
That's hilarious. All right, guys. Follow us on all social, The Dirty Sports. Come see us live December 16th in New Orleans. We'll be there all weekend, so get your tickets for all the shows, live podcast.
Absolutely. Dirtballs, if you're out there, tickets now, Comedy House NOLA. I know there's been a lot of talk about, the ticket bundle and which comedy show and which whatever. Here's my advice to you guys in the meantime. Just get your podcast tickets. Get your podcast tickets. You're going to get into a show. You buy a ticket later. You buy, a ticket at the door, whatever the case may be, whatever just show you decide. But first things first. Don't worry about it. Just get your podcast tickets so we know who's coming and we can plan. We can see the ticket number so we know how many people are there, so we know how many people we have to reach to tell you guys where we're going. Beverly Dylan Mata has a Twitter group chat for New Orleans plans. What's the Mata, I think? I don't know. Search Mata on Twitter, on X, sorry. Search him on X. Find Mata. He'll add you to the Twitter group chat. That's where we'll put you guys for all plans and strategies in New Orleans. Get your tickets to the podcast now. I am in Key West the rest of the weekend. If you're in South Florida or know someone who's down here, it's a pretty small island. So if you know anybody in Key West, send them my way. I'm at Comedy Key West, super fun club with a green room fridge full of Miller Lights. Tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday, come back to LA. I've got some shows in and around LA. We're doing another one at our good friends Minimal Golf Club on October 11th. I am in Vegas October 30th to November 5th at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club. I'll be in Alaska in Anchorage, Wasilla, and a couple other cities if you're in Alaska. And then, of course, 1030 Sports and New Orleans in December. Follow me on all social media. Been putting up clips at Joe Praino on Instagram, at Joe Praino on TikTok. And I think that's it.
We all good?
I think that's it.
Okay. All right, guys, that's our episode. Thanks for sticking with us. Make sure you post it in Reddit so Joe will see it. We should do it over under when you're back.
I promise I won't be. And let me just say this. I know it's one of the last things we'll say on the show. If you're one of those piece of shits that hits me up on social media with some try to force some Reddit take on me by being like, look what they're saying on Reddit, I'll fucking kill you. I'll block you.
Amazing.
I long for the old Twitter days, Andy. I long for the old Twitter days with, dirt balls and dirtball convos and dirtball DM and stuff like that. It's like you knew some people.
I have them all. I have dirtball DM combos.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not like it once was, and Twitter is a cesspool now. But like the anonymous shitting on the show on Reddit, I'm like, just like, who the fuck are you? I don't care.
Yeah, I don't take it personally, dude. I took long.
I don't take it personally either. What I take personally is like, Jesus Christ, we're fucking. Guys, by the way, go buy Surely You Can't Be Serious, the airplane book. I've been reading it the whole fucking week. It's fantastic. Imagine listening to the show and instead of being like, man, every single person in Comedy Day and 2 guys I listen to twice a week love this shit. I should probably check it out. Instead of being like, I want to complain. I don't know how to use a fast forward button. Oh, I'm so sad.
But that's fine. Like, it's fine. Let them complain. Right? That's my take. Like, I definitely took some knocks in that forum. I looked at it. I took knocks. I took my licks. I was just like, okay, you can say what you want about me. That's fine. I don't care. And if you don't like how the show is produced, that's fine too. Look, they're talking about it, right? Isn't that the silver lining?
Sure. As cynical and sarcastic a guy I am, unless I'm faced with it specifically, I do have this air of positivity. And I know all our fans, I know so many of our fans are like, I get the messages all the time. Stop saying all Vikings fans are like this. Stop saying all this. Like, yeah. It's like, man, it's just amazing how no one's louder than the wrong. Am I right?
Well, I think therein lies the question. Right. The like who's right, who's wrong. And I think again, on something like this, as far as people not liking it, that can be their opinion. That's fine. We'll do the show how we want to do the show. But regardless, we'd love to see as many faces in New Orleans as possible.
Absolutely.
I'll say that.
Get your podcast tickets now.
Yeah. All right. We got to wrap this up. All right, guys. It's been fun. We'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. And as always, stay dirty.